Hello, Teresa Phelps Martin in the Soulfully You virtual land. Well, coming to you in that virtual space. I am right here in Louisville, Kentucky with Lulu. Today happens to be October 19th, 2021. And we are in a fire moon and an air sun, and they are cardinal energies. And the cosmos are intoxicating. When you are in a world that feels as if it's unraveling, it's coming undone. There's discord and strife and chaos. You want to have an anchor. You want to have something to lean into. For me, that is my truth. You want to get to know the truth of you. And in that truth, all I can share is that we're on this earth, this rock, this amazing resource that provides all that we need. Water, food, connection. And we're regulated by the light and the dark, the day and the night. And when we're in that darkness and we can call on an energy higher or greater than that which is right in front of us, we see the potential. We see that there's a light in the darkness. And so we're going to move today. We're going to move with this awareness of the breath and the union of the heart and the head, right? The mind and our deeper spark, our divine spark, our sacred essence. And not so much for achievement, but rather to breathe into that potential, to reunite, to come back to that energy that lights up our inner self, right? That lights up the darkness. And it's not going to be, when we usually see fire and air, we have this idea of inspiration and igniting and instinct and intellect. Especially with this cardinal, it's this idea of emerging, right? Or it's, hold on, I wrote it down. This leadership, this ability to exchange, okay? So in that exchange, though, we're going to exchange the energy that helps us understand the dance of our own individual lights and the collective light of the whole, because that's the truth. And just to be completely transparent, I'm at on a pain scale of 1 to 10. I'm no longer at an 8, but I am probably at a 7.5. So there's not going to be this high energy. However, in that, the invitation, though, is for you to get on your mat and be inspired. So that if you find I'm in a low lunge and you want to be in a high lunge, you listen to that energy. There's always strength involved, but that strength isn't of harm. It is a strength in showing up and stepping in. All right? So just some key things to pay attention to are your breath, the beat of your heart, that pulse of light within you, and to really let the mind be aware of this relationship. So the poses are up to you. I will guide you. We will do some twists. We will do heart opening. We will do things that are rhythmic, but in a way that really is authentic. right? So you can get into the true story and be centered, be in that relationship where you can integrate, right? Like, if I'm being transparent and my pain level is at a 7.5, that means I have 2.5 points of feeling good. And if I measured like my discomfort level is 7.5, my comfort level is greater than that, if that makes any sense at all. If you live with pain, this is a really important measurement. We're always asking about the discomfort. We're not asking about the comfort, right? I have a lot of comfort right now. I'm clean. I have Lulu. I have my home. I have you, even though I can't see you. I have this beautiful house. I have this opportunity to utilize tools that have allowed me to dance with this dance of discomfort that I'm just familiar with. And that dance of discomfort is why I am the teacher I am, and why I continue to show up, even though this platform continues to be mysterious, and I miss the company of each of you dearly. Okay? So with that, you're gonna want a blanket and or a bolster. And I will have a block, right? These are the things that provide comfort and support. So Lulu is here, and she's on my blanket, and she prefers that over her dog bed, which I think is cute. So if you don't have a blanket, it's fine. You're just gonna start lying on your back. If you do have a blanket, then you're going to use that blanket or that bolster. If you have a big bolster, it's too much, okay? And you're going to take the blanket and fold it in either half and then in half again. And some of you may be able to take the blanket and roll it out. I know that's too much for me. Okay, so we're gonna start with that heart opening. You could be on the block too, okay? We call on the highest, always, right? You can make it a formal practice, or you can quickly drop in. I've called it on, and I call it on for anyone who've used this and tunes in. So you're gonna find that blanket, find that length, and then fold over the blanket. Arms are wide. Your legs may be able to go straight. I could not do that one. Perhaps you can, but we're going to be here and breathe. Where I want you to take the breath is into the back body. So even if you have no props, right? You have no added embellishments for your practice. You can come to the ground. Think of where you feel the beat in your being. And anchor into that sensation, that pulse of life. That flame of your own center, your heart ignited. And once you anchor into that, ground your awareness into your vitality, into your health. All that you are, the truth of you. The story of you that is true, which you know more than anyone. Even when you don't know, you know, if that makes sense. Kindly ask the mind to be kind, to be compassionate, to be loving. And then just feel that inner horizon. Feel into it, breathe into it. Think of the space between your fingertips and come back to your heart center. And then as you exhale, exhale out completely. You're going to bring your hands in under your head. No, you're not using the muscles of the neck. You're using the hands, you're cradling the head, right? You can even bring your thumbs right where the spine and the skull meet. And you're going to lift the head up off the ground. Once the head's off the ground, you're going to use your core and come all the way up. Hi, Liv. Once you come all the way up, you're going to move your feet over to the left. Actually, no, I totally got it. We're going to go to the right. We're going to start on the other side. You're going to move your feet to the right, so your left knee is forward. Rise up, fold over your knee, and then bow. So we anchored into the back of the heart. Now I want you just to feel the connection as you breathe on that horizontal line. And we're breathing 5 breaths today, but we're breathing with compassion. We're breathing with nourishment. We're breathing with loving awareness. Exhale out completely, ground into the earth. You're going to inhale, come up. Hold on to the right foot. Just a gentle thigh stretch. Okay, maybe you come down to the elbow, maybe not. Come back to the heart center. Fill up. So think of that heart moving into the back body. Then the shoulder blades hugging into that and then elongating from the heart down to your tail through your feet. And elongating from your heart out through your fingers and up to the crown of the head. Stay connected to your core, the base and back part of your heart. That divine spark is buried so deeply within you. The Hridaya is the Sanskrit word, and it contains all things. It contains the love and the war, the hate and the passion. Exhale out completely, free the foot. You're going to bring that right foot forward so it sits in front of the right hip. Hands around the eye of the knee. Find length. We're actually going to hook the right elbow around the right knee. Left hand comes behind you, so we're in an open twist. All right, so you can feel the connection. Where's the head? And twisting in a way that you're open, so the left arm bone is drawn into the back body. There's a link through the spine, and then breathing into that horizon, right? So breathe out into the left rib cage, out into the right rib cage. There's an intimacy to practicing this way, and it can be uncomfortable because you're going in to your experience where we can feel really alone. You're not, though. You are made up of the fabric of the divine. In every cell of your being, the divine resides. It's just sometimes confusing and disenchanting, but really that energy is profoundly beautiful. Inhale, come back through the center. Stretch your right leg out long. Stretch your left leg out long. Hands by your sides and just find length. If you need to bend the knees, go for it. If you have that blanket, bring the blanket under your knees. Ground into it, hands behind you, and find that length. Now we're going to fold forward, but if you don't have something under your knees, please bring something. Keep the feet relaxed. Fold forward, not so much that you're trying to force a forward bend, but you find length through the spine and bow so we can get into the back body. You may not go far at all. If you know or have practiced with me, you know I can fold much deeper, but we're just breathing to open up the back body. Exhale out completely, find the length. Inhale, come all the way up. Remove the blanket. Feet move over to the left. Find length and fold over your right knee. Feeling the breath, the connection. And so you want to listen to your instinct, right? But not go into the rational mind, okay? You want to be more in a place of allowing and trusting in your own truth, right? Because we really have to surrender to the journey. We have to let go of all the labels and listen. Listen to what's coming through. Exhale out completely, ground into the earth. Inhale, rise up, hold on to your left leg, and just a thigh stretch. Nothing too intense. Draw into the core, shoulders to the back. This is a practice. I know I never offered that whole body yes class. It's just, honestly, to be transparent, I don't have the ability to do much more than what I'm doing. Not because of pain, but just because of, you have to work with what you have. And to create a whole class and email you all and plan it and show up for it is rather depleting. Not because I don't love you and I don't want to share. It's just all the other work to make it happen is, there's not fuel for that in my life right now. After those breaths, you're going to release the foot. Rise all the way up. Bring that left foot around front, hands around the eye of the knee. So get heavy onto both sit bones, hands around the eye of the knee. Find the length. The left elbow hooks on, and then you're going to twist. The right hand comes back behind you. And as you're twisting, you're listening. You're listening to the elongation of the spine, the pelvic floor, the diaphragm, the roof of the mouth. Can you bring them into alignment and then breathe into the right and left sides of the lungs? And then inhale, come all the way back through the center. Stretch both legs out. Find that either bend in your knees, so I'll do it this time with a bend in my knees, just in case you don't have the blanket. You find length and you fold. When you have a bend in the knees, you can find the feet and then just bow. Connect to the breath. You're breathing. Remember that pitter-patter of your heart? Go there. Anchor into that beat of life that you are, right? And as you breathe into it, be with it. Exhale all the way out. Find length. Inhale, come all the way up. Move your feet over to the side. You're going to climb onto your hands and knees. Hands under your shoulders. Exhale, round the back. Inhale, open the heart. The movement can be big. It can also be small. Exhale, round the back. Inhale, open the heart. Exhale, round. So how big or small you make the move, you're moving from your heart center, not your mind. So your mind sits in your heart. Your mind is actually informed by your gut, literally. That's why we want to take care of our gut. Inhale to a neutral spine. You're going to move back into child's pose. So we're going to be here for a bit. You can stack your hands and make fists, or you can let the head rest on a blanket or a block. I'm actually going to make my blanket a little bit thicker and rest there. Breathing again. So come back to the beat of your heart. You may be able to feel it. You may not. You may be able to hear it. You may not. We're going to learn to listen for it, though. And then you're going to feel that this line. Remember where the blanket was. That horizontal line in the back body. And just rest. You know, maybe tell yourself that it is a luxury, because it is, to just be here and breathe. And to pour your attention back on the beat of your own heart. Inhaling in, exhaling out. You can let your hips just rock from side to side. Clearing up just what gets stuck in there. Then inhale up onto your hands and knees. Downward dog or hands stretched out long, Anahatasana. Right? So the hands are long, the head may or may not come to the ground. It's just a puppy dog pose. If you're in downward dog, stay lifted through the core, strong in the spine. If you're in Anahatasana, inhale up onto your hands and knees. We'll all lift the left leg, bend the left knee, open the hip up. And then you're going to bring the knee forward and step the foot through to a lunge. So low lunge, you can also come into a high lunge. Left hand, left knee. Draw in. And if you did the right side, it's all good. Trust which foot went forward. Just trust in it. Feel that leg you're twisting towards. Wrap the hip. Now remember the back of the heart. Breathe into it. Draw the shoulders into the back and then lean back. Stay connected in the ribs to the front body. The arm's going to stretch up to the sky. Breathing here. And then as you exhale, free the hand. If the knee's on the ground, back knee's going to lift. You're going to pivot to the long edge of the mat. Okay, so both feet turn forward. Bend your knees. Make sure the pelvis is in the center. And then bow forward. Okay, I know I need a lot of added support for my arms right now. So I'm going to bring a block and then rest here.
Wide-legged forward bend, Prasarita Padottanasana. You're lifted in the core, you're soft in the heart. You're with your breath. You're with the pitter-patter of your heart. You're listening to the whispers of your soul, even in that mysterious world within you. Inhale, find length. That's what I remind myself in regards to this virtual yoga. It's really making you be vulnerable. You're going to turn your feet out, come into a squat. Okay? Feet are turned out. You're in a squat. Watch the low back, draw the core in, find length through the spine. Inhale the arms wide, elbows bend, palms turn up. So this is definitely the hardest thing we've done, right? The most active and muscularly engaging. So just notice how you can feel at least the pulse in your legs. Connect to that horizontal line. And then inhale, straighten the legs. Turn the right foot in, left foot out. It's your choice. You're either going to go into side angle or triangle pose. Okay? Finding that expression that is natural to you. The shoulders are into the back, the ribs are drawing in, and there's a lightness inside, right? There's a heaviness to the bones, grounded, the muscles are hugging in, but there's a lightness to the inner experience. Another full breath in. Where are you breathing? Breathe into the expanse. And then exhale, bend the knee. You can go downward dog or you can come into a table pose. And then from that table pose, you'll move into Anahatasana. Exhale out completely. If you're in downward dog, you're going to inhale the right leg up. If you're in Anahatasana, come onto your hands and knees, lift the right leg, feel the opening, and then step the foot through to a lunge. Help the foot out, get there however you need to. You're going to lunge forward, stay connected, and in that connection, you're going to draw into the belly and twist. Again, ribs drawing in. Breathe into the back line of the heart. Outer hips are square. There's a lot of work in the core. At least there is for me. Maybe there isn't for you. It just comes naturally. And then exhale. The hand comes down, the back knee's going to lift. You're going to pivot and turn to the long edge of the mat. Once you turn to the long edge of the mat, you're going to bow. Again, we're going for that lightness. There's a density so that we can connect to the back line of the back body. Exhale all the way out, bend the knees, turn the feet out, and then inhale, you're coming into this Uttanasana is what I saw somebody call it, which makes sense, right? Wide-legged chair pose, fierce pose. It makes sense, Uttanasana. So here you are, your knees are bent. There's a storyline to this pose. But we really have to be that fierce. We have to be ready to show up in the discord and the strife. We want to feel strong, but receptive. We want to feel the intersection of the head and the heart, the body and the mind. What are we fighting for, and where are we sourcing that energy to allow us to take on the fight, but not fight like we think of dominating, but really just that strife, that survival, so we can fight for that ability to marry the parts of ourselves and integrate into the wholeness of our being. Still and softer flow holds great intensity. I was going to say intoxicity, but maybe that is. We are clearing the toxins. You're going to inhale, straighten the legs. Left foot turns in, right foot turns out. So find the feet, find the stance. The stamina is here, not up here. Okay? I feel like that's part of what we're so stuck in. Thinking. We got to believe and breathe into that truth to get to know our story. Mine is different from yours, right? You may know pain. Maybe that's why you do yoga, is to clear the pain, but mine's different than yours. It's just how it is, because there's that individuation that happens, and it's part of our life. Just know that you're never alone. That's the dichotomy. So triangle pose or side angle pose. You can feel that energy. Use the support that supports you, right? And then you're going to expand. The breathing into the back body, the shoulders are to the back. That roof of the mouth is lined up with the diaphragm and the pelvic floor. So just checking in. When we find that lightness, we find the revelation. Lunge forward, knee comes to the earth, right? It's the Stira and Sukha, one of the biggest ideas of yoga. Effort and ease. The effort is being present. The effort isn't slowing down. We think going slow is easy. Right? I guarantee you, you're battling with this practice on some level. Or maybe it's just right. So you either went to downward dog or anahatasana. And then you're going to slowly melt back into child's pose. Right? Move into your heart, your breath, your ability. Exhale out completely. You're going to inhale all the way up. I apologize. If child's pose is not accessible, you could be lying on your belly. So I apologize for just now saying that because we're not going to come into child's pose again. So you're going to stand on your knees, okay? Our movement has been subtle. In that subtlety, that's my specialty, but in that subtlety, we've woken up the inner thighs, the quads, the outer hips, the psoas, the heart, in the spine, without cranking out anything, okay? The mind is so attached to cranking out. This has been part of my own processing, that if there's not ease, then it's not healthy. I know that sounds crazy. Clearly, somebody who teaches a CrossFit class will disagree. I'm just from a different department. You're going to find length through the spine. And as you find that length, your arms are going to come by your sides. Palms are forward or turn them back. Do the one that serves you. You're going to draw the shoulders into the back. Ribs draw down. Heart lifts up. Shoulders are to the back. You're going to soften the gaze. You're going to feel the front body opening. You're going to feel your quads working, your core, those psoas engaged. You're going to think of leaning back into the arms of your beloved, however you want to describe that. The Disney romantic Prince Charming that doesn't exist, because it's not fair to guys to think that they have to be, just like it's not fair to make the idea that we're supposed to be princesses and beautiful and refined and ready to go. But into the beloved, what is that you have faith in? What is it that you anchor into? What is it that you trust and lean into that? So there's a fierceness to this. Your core is working, the muscles of your back body, your glutes, but you want to go to the place that you could tell your truth, or you should be able to speak. Lift up from the back of the heart, anchor the tail down, see if you can lean back a little more. But not to the point where you're screaming mercy and pain, but just where you feel that innate strength, that innate ability. It's very different than lying over the blanket. No stress in the neck, no stress in the forehead. Move the head if you need to make sure it's clear. Make sure the head's not pushing forward. Maybe you want to go all the way into a camel pose, that's fine. You'll probably find it's easier than this. And that's what I said, find the ease. Find the comfort that's fueled by the discomfort. And then you're going to inhale and come all the way up. Once we come all the way up, I want you to come into a seat that supports you, that serves you. Okay? And as you have that seat, all that energy, just let it dissipate. You can probably feel your heart beating a little more. Settle in, because now what we've done is we've awoken the energy within, that we've illuminated our inner world, that now it doesn't feel so dark, right? It's like I shared with my osteopath, who talk about a privilege to have been introduced to somebody who has devoted his life in trusting the wisdom of the body and supporting healing through helping to facilitate the body's ability to come back into alignment without
So non-aggressive manipulation is why we're doing a practice today. It is a non-aggressive practice and a manipulation of our being to clear the chaos, the discord, to come back to a comfort. The trick is most minds disagree that a practice this subtle can hold a potency to bring forward the light again. Okay, so that's my little tangent. Come back to that seat. Now just notice if when you close your eyes, and if this is a new way of practicing, there might be more commotion inside. It's also another privilege that I have is this steadfast devotion, this unshakable trust in the divine. But that's me. What is your story? What is your true story? The only way you know is if you go inward and explore. So you're being that warrior within. So you're going to come into a seat that supports you. I do recommend the spine being vertical for this meditation. I do recommend there being ease. So maybe you have to even give a prop for your arms. It can be hard having long limbs. And as you find that seat, I want you to bring the awareness again straight into the hridaya, straight into the heart. The hridaya is this seat, this point where all energy comes in and it contains all things. We're always taught, or I've always been taught, that it sits right below the sternum. What's come to me after years of meditating, like let's see, I was in India in 2006, a long time ago, okay, with a big immersion studying in these marmic points, okay? So move more into not just here under your sternum, but go into the heart. Go into this part where the diaphragm dances, the bottom of one of your chambers, I don't know the name of the heart chambers, and then move to the center. It's almost the point where the diaphragm comes up and touches the peak of the diaphragm, right? And that it's like a string that rises up and down. So moving into that center. It's a little bit of the Anahata chakra, which some people, I can hear you asking, that energetic vortex of the heart. The hridaya is just so tiny. It's just this little speck. It's the divine spark that is buried within you. And so we're going to come in and just bring our focus to this point. Our vitality, our light, our purity, our breath, our own grace, and inviting in that higher grace right into that point. And we're going to add the breath, just inhaling and exhaling. You can do Ujjayi breath. Okay? You can also feel that we're moving in this point of this live recording, we're moving into the fullness of the breath. So you can really pause and just feel when the breath is halfway, feeling that full energy, and then turning back down. Okay? Do feel the two sides, the duality of the breath, but I want us to really focus in that point of halfway all the way to the top, like just before you peak at the top of the breath and then turn down. It's like that diaphragm kisses into that energetic point and then falls away. We're going to add the meditation of So Hum or Sao Hum, Hum Sa, which is that statement of that I am that. So if you go Sao and Hum, listen for your breath and make this sound. Sao, Hum. You inhale the So, you exhale the Hum. And if you feel you align more with inhaling in the Hum and exhaling the Sa, it's fine. Everything I shared is too much, and you can just pause with me, close your eyes, come back to the pitter-patter of your heart. Maybe your hands even rest on your heart. That's enough. Right? The Hamsa or Sao Hum meditation appears esoteric and mysterious. So you come to the place that doesn't feel like you're moving too deep into a depth that you don't feel safe, right? You want to get to know your truth by feeling safe and secure and supported and nourished. Find peace just as you are, just where you are. Let go of the idea of you're mandating or making something happen. Celebrate your decision to stay with this practice, to move in subtle ways and awaken to the spark of your true self. Let go of any effort of the Hamsa or So Hum. Look inward and notice the luminous nature, and if it still feels dark, please know there is magnificence in the void. It's where all potential resides. We've just labeled it. And the true story is it's time to let go of all those labels. And breathe into the depth of our true nature, our sacred essence, our spark of being. You allow your head to bow. Allow your palms to turn upward. You're going to open your eyes, gazing into your own two hands. And then bring your two hands together. Tune in You might find that you need to carve out a minute, 2 minutes, 5 breaths, 5 minutes, and just come reclined on the earth, resting, renewing, restoring. Or perhaps you can engage in this level of placidity, where you can go placidly amongst the noise and haste. The world is noisy. There's a lot of haste out there. Trust in the choice that you make. Choose from what is going to support you and serve you. But you want to, if you're going to go into the world and with this softer focus, you don't necessarily want to be driving a car. You don't want to pick an argument. You might want to pick a time to schedule that argument later. You want to be in that place where perhaps you write, perhaps you read something inspiring, perhaps you make something, perhaps you sit and you eat and you taste the delicacy of the food you're choosing to nourish yourself. Perhaps you call a loved one to just share with them that you're grateful for them. Perhaps you go for a walk or sit in nature. It's really about choosing something that's going to be more healing and restoring and passive, if you will, rather than activating. If you know you need to go get active, then lie down even just where you come all the way to the earth, feel every bone touching the earth, and then come back up, closing your practice and beginning again. I will close the practice here and now from my side, but the practice continues. It is just beginning, and we're beginning in a new cycle in a new way as we are awakening into the height of our inhale so we can find the dissolve, but there's also a peak happening and other layers. Just know there's so much happening that you want to know the true story of you so you can stay in your lane and continue to pioneer the path of your own soul. Thank you. There will be a blog post that supports this practice that will, if you're watching live, it'll show up on my website. You can also go to the website and become a lunar contributor. It's $22 a month. It's a 6-month commitment. However, you can also change your mind next month. So you just have to have boundaries around things because of technology. You can also share, comment, engage, participate. There's so many ways to be a lunar contributor, and I thank you. It's all on my website under yoga. I think it says work with me, and then you go to yoga, and you just scroll down and find the lunar contributor. If I get motivated to rehash that part, I will, but right now it is what it is. I thank you. If you want to go deeper, you can schedule a soul session. If you want to know how to step inward and cultivate a healthy relationship with your whole self and your inner self, that's what I do in my coaching. So, thank you. And always, always be real. Be true to you. Be so fully you that you can live soul-centered. Ciao. I thank you.